The iPad Pro, a long-time category-defining device that launched a trend of tablets into the marketplace back in 2011. A device that blurred the lines between a giant iPod and a secondary or perhaps even primary computing device. Apple's iPads have long led the tablet market, with most of its Android competition, save for the Galaxy Tab line, dying off, and other competitors such as the Pixel Slate failing to steal any of its thunder. The iPad maintains its strong foothold in the tablet market, which has since been flooded by 2-in-1 devices running Windows or Chrome OS. The general idea of the iPad has stayed relatively the same throughout the years, providing a large screen experience and a smallish footprint, but with smartphone displays ever increasing in size and cheap laptops becoming much better and much more portable, is there still a place for the iPad, and more specifically the iPad Pro? I'm Dave with TechDove. Let's take a closer look at whom the iPad Pro might appeal to. It's only a matter of time before Apple ditched the large forehead and chin of the old iPad Pro, a design which, while elegant, was showing its age. With Apple having ditched the large forehead and chins from its iPhone line, and with it, Touch ID, it was all but certain the iPad line, at the very least the Pro models, would be receiving a similar treatment. It only took 7 years, but hey, who's counting? Those narrowed bezels surround Apple's Liquid Retina display, which is a fancy way of saying we rounded the corners of an IPS LCD panel, which carries with it similar traits to the Razer phone's LCD panel, namely that it supports a full refresh rate of up to 120 Hz. Apple tags this as their ProMotion display, and its resolution comes in at 1668 by 2388 pixels. You know, because Apple has never heard of standardized resolutions before. Anyway, this gives the iPad Pro a pixel density of 265 pixels per inch at an impressive 83% screen-to-body ratio. And let me tell you, this display looks amazing. It's buttery smooth, super crisp, and overall just a pleasure to use. At the top of that display is Apple's Face ID system, which on the iPad Pro is able to be used in any orientation, including upside down. Now we get onto a touchy subject: build quality. This wouldn't be something for me to get all bent out of shape about, but I just have to straighten things out here because I did indeed experience it on my own cellular iPad Pro. The new iPad Pros have almost zero structural integrity to them. In Apple's quest for thin and light devices, durability has taken a back seat to fashion once again. Is anybody having iPhone 6 flashbacks? Trust me, I wouldn't have even mentioned this if it weren't for the fact that on day one of owning the new iPad Pro, while unplugging it from its snug-fitting charging cable, my iPad bent ever so slightly, causing its demise. Just 30 seconds out of its packaging, and I had a big old paperweight. Luckily for me, Apple issued a replacement the very next day, despite telling me they had no cellular 1TB models in stock. But I digress. The iPad Pro is beautiful, but I wouldn't recommend using it without a big bulky case. Oh, the irony. It's a giant aluminum slab with a very sleek profile of just 5.9mm thick. Up top is the power button that doubles as the Siri trigger, as well as 2 out of 4 of the stereo speakers. On the side is the volume buttons, placed a bit high up for my taste. Below that is the wireless charging pad for the second generation Apple Pencil. Below the wireless charging pad sits the SIM card tray, for the cellular model only. On the left side is the single microphone and nothing else. On bottom we have another 2 stereo speakers, making for 4 total, as well as the very un-Apple USB Type-C charging port. I know, I'm just as shocked as you. I was expecting Apple to milk their Lightning port for a little while longer. All jokes aside, this was a welcome change. On the back is the large camera bump and quad flash module. That camera is the same sensor found on the XS, XS Max, and XR, so its quality is roughly the same. But please don't take pictures with your iPads. The iPad Pro line has always been known for great audio, but this year Apple has outdone themselves, both in a good way and a bad way. The stereo speakers in the newest Pro models are incredible, providing plenty low-end as well as crisp and clear high-end with gobs of volume to spare. Once again sounding comparable to a medium-sized Bluetooth speaker, but with far better sound. Not much to complain about here, though I wish they were front-facing. And then there's the wired audio situation. Well, not only have Apple decided to ditch the headphone jack on a model of iPads targeted at professionals, but they switched port types, rendering all Lightning audio adapters useless here. But then they had the audacity to not include a USB-C to 3.5mm dongle in the box. Kind of a Richard move here, Apple. By now everyone knows what Apple A-series chips are capable of, often leading the market in raw power. But what's been done here is insanity for such a slim package. The A12X Bionic chip is right up there in benchmarks with Intel i7 chips. And yes, I'm fully aware of the architecture difference between x86 and ARM-based processors. What Apple has managed to do here is impressive nonetheless. The iPad Pro is the most powerful ARM-based tablet on planet Earth, full stop. And in daily use combined with that 120Hz display it shows, it really isn't worth mentioning the words lag, stutter, or frame drops here. This is one wickedly powerful tablet, and all without any fans. Gaming, multitasking, video and photo editing is a breeze with all that raw power on tap here. Pair that with 64, 256, 512 gigabytes, or even a massive 1 terabyte of storage and either 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM, there's enough storage here to make anyone happy. However, the lack of real file system and iOS's somewhat constrained nature, this is merely a preview of what tablet performance could be in the future, as the software of the iPad Pro is the biggest bottleneck. It really is a shame that Apple doesn't make some sort of hybrid OS between iOS and macOS for the iPad. There is so much potential here for a tablet Apple is calling a laptop replacement. The 11-inch iPad Pro has a generous 29.45 watt-hour battery, or 7,812 milliamp hours. Considering its thin form factor and battery life has been great. And the best metric I know how to measure it is with screen on time. I was able to net 9 hours of screen on time during an 18-hour workday, going from browsing the web to photo and video editing. Some multimedia tasks such as YouTube or Netflix and streaming music. Apple is definitely a market leader when it comes to power management, especially considering the power on tap here. I know I keep mentioning it, but I really am blown away by it. Overall, the iPad Pro 11-inch is a big step up from the previous 10.5-inch model in every metric other than its horrendous build quality. As for its cameras, up front is Apple's fantastic Face ID system, centered around a very good-looking 7-megapixel front-facing camera at an f2.2 aperture with up to 1080p 60 fps video recording, as well as selfie portrait mode. The back camera is the same 12-megapixel f1.8 sensor as found on the iPhones from last year, the XR and XS family. And I cannot stress this enough, please don't go around taking pictures or videos with an iPad. If you do, I have to assume you wear socks with your sandals. Just don't do it. If you wish to see camera samples or know more about its recording capabilities, please watch my iPhone XS Max review. With the bezel-less trend marching ever forward, the iPad Pro positions itself as one of the few slim-bezeled tablets. But with prices starting at $799 for the base 64GB 11-inch model and $999 for the base 64GB 12.9-inch model, and going all the way up to $1549 for 1 terabyte of storage and Wi-Fi only, or $1699 for LTE, or $1749 and $1899 for the 11-inch and 12.9-inch models, in 1 terabyte, Wi-Fi or LTE respectively. Is this a good purchase for those with an older iPad or iPad Pro? See, based on its power alone, I would say yes, but based on its horrible build quality, I'm inclined to say no. Since most people won't invest in a quality case or treat this as delicately as it seemingly needs. It's a mixed bag for me, since by the way, this entire review was edited on this very iPad Pro 11-inch. I really wanted to love this iPad, but for me, the fragility is too much of a no-go for me. I would honestly say pass this one and hope Apple rectifies the build quality situation this year. I wanted so badly to give this iPad a pass because of how gorgeous it is, but in good conscience, I just cannot. My verdict is, if you haven't pulled the trigger yet, wait. I'm Dave with TechDove. Thank you so much for watching. Please get subscribed if you enjoyed the video, and drop a like if you're feeling like being awesome. And stick around for my Galaxy S10 Plus and Galaxy S10e reviews coming very soon.